Hey, welcome to the Halos in the Infield flagship podcast with your hosts, Todd Fox, Fernando Mendez, and Courtney from Riverside. I don't. I'm welcoming everyone in as it's the Todd Fox postgame show. We're not going to talk too much about the Angels-Phillies tonight because we have special guests. I got Fernando with me, and I got Brian Crosby from Marvel, and a guy that you might know from Game 6, the one, the only, Scott Spiezio, and we're going to be here doing multiple things, taking your questions and answers, but also learning how to draw the rally monkey, right?
That's right.
All right, so I want to say hi to everybody out there.
Hello. Hey, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so
I'll go after Scott. Hey, everybody. Thanks for having us on, guys.
There you go. So we're going to be taking your questions and concerns about anything related to baseball, Marvel, and as a fan, I mean, it's a day when we've gotten so much bad news. We already had this planned, but it just seems to be a good little cover for what's been going on. And we'll ignore the game. Maybe we'll talk that later today or tomorrow, whatever. Who cares? Let's talk about Angels baseball in whole, your fandom, and also you're getting a chance to talk to Scott Spiezio and Brian from Marvel and all your comic book. I know a lot of you guys love Marvel out there. So let's keep the questions and comments going, shall we? And what do you guys want to get off to first here, or opening comments?
Well, for starters, I want to say thanks everyone for joining us who's coming on the live stream. Second of all, I want to thank Brian and thank Scott for their time. And Scott, the first thing I want to ask you, since you probably have a little bit of a biased opinion on this, a lot of Angels fans have become anti-Rally Monkey lately. They think it's an old gimmick, but you were on the field when this was introduced. So what's your perception of the Rally Monkey? And does he hold a special place in your heart because, of what he did for the team?
Well, yeah, I mean, it worked. So I love it. All of us, when it first came out, we were like, what's going on here? This is crazy. And then the dang thing started working, especially in 2002. And so, we loved it. We noticed that other teams didn't like it at all. As a matter of fact, other teams would be still to this day, I'll be talking to a guy from the Twins or the Giants, Doug McKaywitz or somebody like that. And they'll be like, man, every time that thing came on, I told our teammates, don't look at it in the eye, because it works. And for me, it has a special place in my heart. It was just it was a neat thing. It got the fans going, that's for sure. And when you'd see everybody holding up the Rally Monkey and flailing it around, it got your blood flowing a little bit. And like I said, it worked. So I loved it.
Brian, you worked for Disney. I mean, you still work for Disney, but you were an Imagineer. Can you confirm that it's the only thing that Disney still owns from that Angels time?
Is the Rally Monkey?
Yeah, I've heard that they still own the Rally Monkey.
Yes.
I can neither confirm nor deny that. I have no idea. The Angels still use it. So if that is true, I don't know. They have some kind of arrangement with the Walt Disney Company, but I'm not sure about that.
Okay, if there's something that we need to get some kind of confirmation. If you do, whatever friend you have on the inside, we need to get everyone
that's
else.
That's a question for one of the lawyers, not the creative guys.
That's fair. Yeah, the creative guys might not know.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, didn't PETA get on him too? So maybe he wants to deny it because of that.
That's true.
My hands are clean.
Brian's like, I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I just draw pictures, guys.
Yeah, that's fair. Real quick before we get into the weeds on everything, I do want to remind all of our listeners really quickly that we are doing the backpack drive for needy kids in San Bernardino. Raffle ticket gets you a chance to win a signed baseball by either Mike Trout. We got 2 Ty Buttrey balls, 4 Zach Neto signed photos. All the money goes to a good cause. So if you guys want to help any local kids get some school supplies, make sure to let us know. The links are in our social medias.
Exactly.
Cool.
So We're gonna. Can you draw Brian maybe a rally monkey hitting a Game 6 home run, as in Spiezio a little bit, or are we gonna go with a standard rally monkey? Whatever.
Well, it's going to be more kind of the cartoony version
Okay.
of the Valley Monkey, but I do have a little something special in store for you guys towards the end. You'll see what it is.
Okay.
Is it Scott Spiezio as Iron Man?
He's already done. He's got the chin music. He's ready to go.
That's fair.
I love it.
Do you have a favorite Marvel character, Scott?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. I don't know. I like them all. My youngest son is liking Spider-Man, and my middle son used to love dressing up as Spider-Man all the time. I started getting a little worried about him sometimes, and but he loved it. So maybe that. I love Iron Man too. I like them all. One thing I used to do when I'd come to the plate, I worked a lot with my mental game. So when I visualize at night, I visualize myself succeeding the night before, and I'd see myself, against the pitcher, the starting pitcher, the relievers, and the closer. And whenever I do that, I'd squeeze my fists and I'd call myself Pure Crush. And what I'd turn into is the Hulk. So I'd feel like I was the Hulk, basically, and I came up there with the tree trunk, and everything I hit was pure, right on the sweet spot of the bat, on the sweet spot of the ball, and it was absolutely crushed. So I had this alter ego called Pure Crush based on the Hulk, and so every time I'd get in the batter's box, you'd see me squeeze my hand first before I get in there, and I'd say to myself, Pure Crush. So let's go with the Hulk.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a superhero right there. You just came up with an origin story. That's perfect.
I love it.
I already coined his what is it? His turn or his phrase. His catchphrase should be Spiezio smash.
Yeah.
You really
Pure
dug deep
Crush.
for that one, didn't you, Todd?
Yeah.
We've got a green Hulk. We've got a red Hulk. There's even a blue Hulk, but we do not have an orange Hulk.
Oh,
So
There you go.
there you go. Pure Crush.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like it.
Real quick, Caesar wants to know a question for Brian. How long does it take for a concept to come to Marvel to be made into a movie on average?
Oh, well, I don't work specifically on the movies. I work on kind of live events and attractions and things like that, but it really varies from project to project. I mean, for movie projects usually take years. It's usually a couple of years between pre-production and story development, and then you have actual production and post-production. So it's a pretty lengthy process. And then how that translates into what I do can vary anywhere from, I worked on the attractions at Disney California Adventure, like Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, Avengers Campus, and things like that. And all those things were years in development, kind of honing in on the right concept, developing it, going through approvals, design, and lots and lots of people touch it. So I never like to say, oh, I did this or I did that, because it's truly a team effort that requires everybody to come together.
How long? So at what point did you guys know as Imagineers that Tower of Terror was on its way out and that Guardian of the Galaxy was going to replace it?
That one was pretty quick. We had already been developing some of what ultimately became Avengers Campus at California Adventure, and the president of the Disneyland Resort at the time, he saw the trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and he just thought it looked hilarious, and he's like, "Oh, we should change out the Tower of Terror to Guardians of the Galaxy," which to us seemed really, really random, and we're like, "Hey, people are also gonna hate this because they love the Tower of Terror." And so we did some exploration. We looked at other characters that might, maybe be a better fit, but we kept coming back to Guardians, and really they felt like and then they had the music, and they were irreverent and funny and weird characters, like a talking tree and a raccoon, and we thought this is going to be a lot of fun. And we knew we were different than Tower of Terror, which is all about suspense and kind of being scary, and Guardians is not about that. It's about being funny and irreverent. And so we had, I don't remember exactly how long, but it was I want to say somewhere in the neighborhood of like 7 months to pull it all together, which meant stripping out that building completely down to just the ride system, designing everything. We happened to be shooting the movie at the time, and so we were able to go out to Atlanta and capture the footage with Dave Bautista and Chris Pratt and the rest, and it all kind of came together. And we heard the fans complain about it, but as soon as it opened, the fans were pretty quiet and they seemed to enjoy the ride. So really proud of that one.
One of the comments on here by Hayes says they need to change the ride to the Tower of Artie Moreno.
That'd be too scary for the kids. Yeah, that's a good one.
We'll have some.
That would break down halfway through the ride, so that's no good.
Let me ask you.
I'm sorry, Spiez. I know you got to be down the middle, but you know.
Let me ask you that question real quick, Scott. So today we got word that the Angels were cutting some significant pieces, and they're putting on the waiver wire in an attempt to save potentially $7 million. They put guys like Hunter Renfroe, Matt Moore,
Lopez.
Ronaldo
Grichuk.
Lopez. So Randall Grichuk. So they put a couple of really big pieces that they put a lot of capital into trading over. Just to save roughly $7 million to get under the luxury tax. So if you were a free agent this year, is that something that you personally would look at? Because, you were a player, so you have a player mindset. Is that something that is going to leaves, I guess, a stain for some potential free agents?
That's a tough question. I mean, as a player, you want to go somewhere where you have a chance to win, and that they want, most guys that are older are going to want to, especially if they haven't won, are going to want to win quick. So yeah, you're going to look at stuff like that. I mean, you're going to rely on your agent for a lot of that stuff, but there's a lot of different factors that come into it. A lot of guys want to stay in California. I mean, it's a perfect place to play. It's like paradise out there. Compared to here, like now it's not too bad, but you start getting in the early, April and even May, it's a great place to play out there year round. So, it's a great area to, you can go to the mountains and go skiing, you go to the beach in the same day, so I don't know. There's a lot of good things, there and that's a tough one. I guess every individual is going to judge differently on that one.
That's fair.
Yeah, you'd have to, as a player, do your homework. I mean, because the tea leaves are out there. I think, especially with social media now and 24-hour sports. I mean, it's obviously different from when you played. You didn't have that extra, social media checking up on every at bat. And these players can get in their own heads by reading what we write about, or what our takes are, because we're so knee-jerk reaction about it. And some players, some take offense. I mean, obviously, even if you're not going personal, but you're talking about the person's play, like it could be hard. So, I mean, would you be able to, as a player today, deal with all that, the added pressure from social media, or would you just stay away from it completely?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I've always said that I'm glad I didn't have to deal with it, but I was pretty good at self-marketing, so it could have worked to my advantage, especially with the Cardinals and the red soul patch, and the Angels. I did have a little bit of a red streak in my goatee. It's hard to know. I was one of those guys that I knew it was your guys' jobs and the media's jobs to come down on you if you were playing bad and to raise you up if you were playing good. So to me, it didn't really bother me, unless somebody attacked me, or my family or something. Yeah. But, I usually respected the media and they respected me. And I knew fans were fickle. So, if they yelled at me, I was pretty good at blocking them out. I just thought about pure crush, right?
There you go. Real quick, too, Sports News wants to know, would you accept the Angels hitting coach position if offered? Because I think some of them remember your great, direction, or how you were talking about the way you hit and the way you were taught in Oakland and places like that. So a lot of those fans remember. Would you be willing to, let the other younger players of today know about your skills and how you made it?
Well, I was lucky enough for the Angels to ask me out to Instructional League last October. And I got to talk with Rudy Jaramillo and his nephew, about hitting. And it's in a lot of the players. I mean, Nito was there. There was some other guys that were there, and we talked. It was Salmon and Eckstein and Vlad Guerrero Senior and Percival. I don't know if I said Adam Kennedy, but we were there and we just kind of talked to the team about what it takes to win and what it takes to rely on each other and what it takes to put pressure on the other team and things like that. I teach kids now. I think that my philosophy is probably a lot different than what they teach now. So it would all depend on if they really wanted me or not, and to teach the way I wanted. I don't know how many guys would listen to me anymore, but I think there's a lot of things that I'm worried on what to say here because there's some philosophies that I don't really like, and there's some philosophies that I think could definitely help. And I don't know if there's teams that are willing to listen to guys like me anymore.
Well, can I just say, to be a fly on the wall in that room with you and Vladdy and Salmon, and I mean that's the stuff I would want to see on social media. Correct. As a fan. Like that, that's amazing. Like, how cool. That just sounds fantastic. What a cool room.
Yeah, it was fun, and we told them exactly the way we felt, and the reception was awesome. The coaches, the minor league coaches, the major league coaches that were there, even the sabermetrics guys that there was guys calling them the nerd herd. We know
that was around. You, Scott.
Right, that was me. Yeah. I'm the MIT grad walking around, right? But it was cool to kind of get to understand their side of it, and I think there's definitely some use for it. Sometimes I think it gets overused, especially with hitters. I think pitchers, you can definitely use the heck out of it. Hitters, sometimes I think if you overload a hitter, it can do more bad than good. And the one thing that, as far as hitting goes, I wish that they get more into the feel of things than just pure mechanics, because you can have perfect mechanics, and if you're not mentally sound and you don't have that feel at the plate and that good approach, it doesn't matter how good your mechanics are.
Correct. A couple quick comments before we get back to Brian here. It said, question to everyone. I'll save that one for after. But Halo Joe said he was in Palm Springs and had tickets to see Paul Rodriguez. Someone screamed in the middle of the show, "Angels won the World Series." The crowd cheered. Paul was pissed because he was a Dodger fan. So he just wanted to let you know about that. And then Alfonso said, Todd, how about Scott Spiezio pulling Erstad, Adam Kennedy as some coaches to coach the Angels squad if open? Would you bring in some ex-players from the 2002 season, or from maybe even the Cardinals championship team you were on, if you had a staff?
Yeah, this. I always see Erstad as a manager, and I'm always teasing him, hey, when you get back into it, bring me along. I know Eckstein loves to teach. We all love to teach. I mean, Salmon, Kennedy, Percival, we all love it. We've all been around it after playing, and it's just if we got the opportunity, would we be able to teach what we've learned? Me personally, I learned from my dad, who played 9 years in the big leagues, and he learned a lot from, some incredible teammates. He was on 3 world championship teams and played with many guys in the Hall of Fame. My dad and I were just out there at the Hall of Fame. I got to play and represent the Angels, which was really cool. I hadn't played in a real game since 2010. I got first hit off the one hop off the wall, but I can't run anymore. So I got a single. But my dad represented the Cardinals. And we walked through the Hall of Fame and we saw all the guys that we played with or against, and with me, there's going to be more that will be coming, Pujols, Molina, there's a lot of them. And so we got all this knowledge, with the guys who play. I used to take notes from, McGuire and Salmon and Garrett Anderson and Edgar Martinez and Pujols. And so I've used all those guys, including hitting coaches like Mickey Hatcher, Hal McRae, Paul Molitor, Don Baylor. So, I have a lot of knowledge, and so do those other guys. And, we'd love to share it. I just don't, I haven't been in the game for so long. I don't know how it works. I've heard some things from other guys that have been in it, and, it's a little discouraging. I spent 2.5 hours with Joe Madden the other day having lunch, and with me and my dad. And, there's it's a different game out there now, so it's just, you just never know if it's something like that's even possible. But if there was a chance, it would be pretty cool. That's for sure.
Okay. All right. I like that answer. Question to Brian real quick. When do you think the Angels will be relevant again?
Oh, that's it? End of question?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's such a loaded question.
It just says question 2027.
I mean, I don't know that I'm the expert to answer that, but as a fan, hopefully sooner rather than later. I know a lot of people are calling for a reboot and a refresh, and I think we kind of get down as fans when we have seasons like this. But if you're a longtime Angel fan, there's been some lean years, and you always gotta hopefully stay optimistic and stay true to your team. And I remember even that 2002 season, if I can go back to that, as a fan, that the beginning of that season was pretty rough. I believe started off about 6-14, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I remember as a fan that year, they had a giveaway that if you brought a Pepsi can,
yep,
you'd get 2 tickets for the price of 1.
Yep. I used to go to those.
And people forget about that because 2002 became the year that we all know, but at the beginning it was pretty lean. So things can get rough, and I think, but if you're a true fan, you got to stick with it and just deal with it, with the lean years and the lean times, and pull for things to turn the other way. It's baseball. The pendulum will swing the other way at some point.
Yeah, that year we started 6-14 is because we had a bunch of suspensions from a fight we got into in spring training. So maybe they need to get into a big fight in spring training.
There we go.
Start the year with staggered suspensions.
Light a little fire in March. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
The only kind of fight I think the team got in this year was Rendon single-handedly fighting that fan, like the second game of the season.
Right. I saw that.
Yeah. I think that was it. But Scott, since I brought that up, was there ever any fans that ever took it too far with you? You were kind of able to restrain, but you had those moments where you're like, bro, if I could, I would get over there and beat you.
This podcast aside.
There's a bunch of them, especially you get to New York and Philadelphia. There was one guy that actually, it was pretty funny. We were in Milwaukee, and I think it was my rookie year. And so anytime I'm close to Chicago, when somebody says, "Hey, Scott," or "Hey, Spiez," something like that, I looked because I thought maybe it was somebody from my hometown in Morris, Illinois. So I'm on the on-deck circle, and somebody's yelling. And he's like, "Hey, Scott! Hey, Scott! Hey, Spiez!" And so I look up, and he's like, "Hey, is your dad Ed Spiezio?" And I just said, shook my head yes. And he goes, "Well, that makes 2 generations of mediocre ball players."
Oh man!
And I start laughing, and I actually tip my hat. So that's a pretty good one there. I'll give you that one.
By the way,
there's some hecklers that are clever. They go out of their way to do a little bit of research, and there's some guys who are just like, "Oh, you're a punk," and you're like, "Whatever."
James Malou from Bellflower, big shout out. He's a huge Angels fan. He said, "Hey, Spiez, Sand Frog."
Yes. Yep. I got the amp back there and the guitars. Now my son is in a band. So for everybody out there, I think they're releasing their album October 6th. Their band name is Kangaroo Court. Okay. And I think their big single is Something's Gotta Give. So you can go on YouTube and see the video. And they've got a couple of Spark Ranger, I think, is another song, and they've got Instagram account. So check them out. Cody Spiezio is the drummer. Got long hair.
All right.
Now I've got a gym, basketball court back there, and they practice out there. So they're coming down Thursday to practice.
Oh, nice. You're not going to be getting much sleep.
They're practicing from 12 to 3.
Oh, okay.
So
that's good. That's good.
We're all right. Yeah.
There you go. Just follow them on I follow them on our Instagram account. There you go.
All right. Very good. Very good.
And then our resident Artie Moreno account on YouTube just checked in and said, "Hey, Spiezio, we need you. 2 years, $600 million."
I'm there.
Yeah.
I'll jog there for that much.
There you go. Frederick also says greatest home run in Angels history. There you go, right there. And
thank you.
Another question by Little Wayne: who was Spiezio's funniest, or who was the funniest Angels teammate you had?
The funniest?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Percy had some dry sense of humor. Same with Erstad. A lot of people don't get to see that stuff. It was a great bunch of guys. Orlando Palmero was really funny.
Really?
Yeah. There was a lot of fun. Weber.
Oh, Ben Weber. I could see that. that.
Ben was really funny. He still is. Every time I see him, he's like, "Come here, boy," and he's like hugging me or like kissing my cheek. And, he's fun. That reunion, it was really nice of the team to bring us out and put us up. They put us up at Pelican Hills, and we got to spend 3 days together. And it's like you just walked out of the clubhouse and back in like a day later, even though it was 20 years ago. Just the bonds that you form with those guys when you win a championship is just an unbelievable thing. It's like a brotherhood. I know I could call any of them up right now and say, "Hey man, I need to talk," and they'd be like, "Yep, all right, let's go."
That's cool.
So it's
That's
pretty
awesome.
cool. Yeah.
Was Social funny? Like I feel like I get some like dad humor vibes from him.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Social was great. So was Joe Madden. I mean, Hatcher is like one of the guys. Rally caps.
Oh yeah.
I had a little red strip in my goatee. And I started doing it. I drew some red streaks in my hair and in my goatee when the A's came into town in 2002 for paint, and we did paint the town red day. Everybody showed up in t-shirts, so I went out and did that. And I was hitting so well. Whenever the red started coming out of it, when I'd go on deck, he'd take a little sharp red Sharpie and fill it in for me. It worked, and I got super hot during the playoffs. But yeah, Social was hilarious. I mean, in spring training, he'd basically do practical jokes on people, and he'd ask the rookies, "Hey, you got any hobbies?" And the rookie would say, "Oh, I like to cook," and he'd go, "Okay, well tomorrow," he'd say, "Who's your friend?" "Oh, this guy and this guy." "Okay, you three are gonna go out and make spaghetti and meatballs for the whole team, and then you're gonna give the bill to Salmon," and or. One guy'd say, he'd go, "Hey, what are you doing this weekend?" We're gonna go to the Chandler ostrich races." "Okay, well, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go there and you're gonna bring a live ostrich in here on Monday." And sure enough, these rookies are bringing a live ostrich into the clubhouse.
Wow!
And you got all the Dominican players are running out of the place. Grande pollo, it was some funny stuff. Yeah, we had a good time.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Also, yeah. that's the stories that we love to hear, man. I mean, because that's the loose clubhouse, something that like we haven't heard from in a while. So that's pretty cool. Halo Joe says, any chance Brian Galacticus will make an appearance in the upcoming Marvel movie?
I can't even speak to any of the future Marvel movie stuff, so I'm not going to even go there.
I thought we were going to get a little inside information here.
No, I can't speak to that stuff. So I really don't know.
I have one inside information question I want to ask Brian before we draw the rally monkey. I know that's going to be coming up now. Yeah. I want to ask Brian. So you said that you guys were toying around a couple of other ideas besides Guardians of the Galaxy for the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. Are you allowed to share any of those? Like that, maybe some of the ones that were kind of far in development.
Sure. Yeah. We took a look at, the characters that you might expect, right? Spider-Man was on our list. We thought about, how that elevator has that up and down sensation. Could there be something there? And knowing how much time we had, to really change out the aesthetic of that building, Doctor Strange was not a huge stretch either. But the more we thought about those characters and they're so big and bombastic, and they do, like you think about like the Hulk, like these characters are huge, and so they need a lot of room to play. And when you're sitting in that elevator shaft and you've got essentially a movie screen in front of you, you want to try and confine the action to that space. And so by having the Guardians in there who don't really have superpowers per se, having them held in captivity allowed us to frame them in that space and not get too big with the story. And one of the things that we have to think about when we're creating attractions is making the guest, the fan, the protagonist of the narrative. So when you're watching a movie or reading a comic book or whatever it is, you're watching that action unfold on the screen. But when you go on a ride or an attraction, you become the hero of the story. So it has to be about you. So how do we put you in? So if you think about going on Space Mountain, you're not watching somebody else fly around in a rocket. You're the one on the rocket ship, right? So you become the star of that story. So that was something that we talked a lot about, and how do we make that all come together? And one of the things that we've been doing a lot is in my job is working in pro sports. We've been doing a lot of Marvel superhero days. We just, we're in the middle of our Marvel Defenders of the Diamond program with minor league baseball. And one, having designed attractions, when I think about all of those events that we do, when we're trying to bring Marvel into baseball, or bring Marvel into the NFL or whatever it is, I think holistically about what that narrative is, that the music, the sights, the sounds, everything that you see and experience needs to reinforce that story and that experience, so that you feel baseball, you feel that baseball and Marvel are coming together. And so we put a lot of care and thought into that. Think about the fan experience.
True.
All right. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, because that I think that's the thing, that to engage the fans on a ride like that, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's definitely an upgrade from the original Tower of Terror, because I think that a lot of people thought, the MCU getting involved was going to mess up the ride. I thought it made it a lot better.
Yeah. I was one of those Disney traditionalists, right?
Yeah,
I was like, oh God, how dare they? The Tower of Terror is like, for the longest time, was like one of the only rides at DCA that was, an e-ticket aside from Soarin' and California Screaming. That was really the e-ticket.
Yeah, my friend was like, dude, like, make their own ride, have the MCU make their own ride. But no, it greatly improved it.
They 2+'d it, like they used to say.
I'm glad you like it.
Absolutely.
Now you guys make me. I want to go out there now and ride the dang thing. Now you got me.
We'll go out there. We'll ride it together, Scott. It sounds awesome.
All right.
There you go. That's the guy to ride it with. So
exactly.
Perfect.
Oh, one quick question before we get into the drawing, because that's what we're going to do. The drawing of the Rally Monkey. Brian wants to know, to ask Scott here, what was his thoughts on the Disney management, how they treat the players at the time?
To be clear, this is not me asking that question.
Yeah, it's another Brian. My bad.
What did you think of? What did you think of the Disney year, Scott?
I didn't have any issues with them. I thought it was pretty cool, like the stuff that they came up with on the scoreboard and stuff, and the revamp of the stadium, because I played in that stadium when it was still a football stadium, and it wasn't fun to play in. So. And since then, it's one of my favorite stadiums to play in, so I thought they did a great job with it. They turned everything around. We won. And even after I was gone, they still were a winning team for a while there. And so, and there was a lot of stars that came by. I remember John Travolta being up in the box with Jackie Autry. and I think it was Michael Eisner, right, at the time.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you get to meet Michael Eisner, by the way?
I think I did once, but not real, official or anything. But yeah, I mean, I didn't have any problem with it. I was what was really cool is we got free tickets everywhere, for everything, and we get money off of the Disney store. So I went to Disney so much, especially when my kids were little. I mean, we were there. There's times where I went and opened the dang thing and went until like 1 o'clock, and then would go to the field, and be worn out. But it was great. We had, I think it was the Silver Pass, and it was a lot of fun. I almost wish that they would have held on to it for a couple more years, because I think they would have. I know Artie was coming in, and he was trying to make his own, spin on the thing. But I think maybe if Disney would have held it for another couple of years, we would have been able to hold on to that team a little bit longer. But I understand with them is probably the great, after winning, it's a great time to sell. So I understand it,
You know what I loved about the Disney years, and I think we talked about this last time I was on the show, but I always felt like there was a sense of pride in Anaheim.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Between renaming the team to the Anaheim Angels, and the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim across the street, and putting Anaheim on the jersey, and even in the Disney years, it was when it was on the sleeve. I just felt like there was really this sense of pride in the city of Anaheim, and I always thought that was cool. I feel like we've lost that a little bit in recent years, and I did always enjoy that about and Disney probably it helps them, right, for people to know where Anaheim is, what Anaheim is about, and but I always enjoy that. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's hard for me to like say anything but the Anaheim Angels anymore. It's just, and I remember after it was cool is after we won, they're like, "Hey, you just won the World Series. What are you gonna do?" And we're like, "We're going to Disneyland."
It's right there.
We're walking.
We were all there. We had a parade through there, and California Adventure, and it was pretty cool. And I remember doing the next day I did the top 10 list for David Letterman, and he started off by saying, and we got Scott Spiezio from the Los Angeles Angels, or the California Angels, or the Anaheim Angels, or whatever the heck they are, And he says, isn't it kind of tough with all the traffic? And I said, well, the good thing is being owned by Disney, they provide a monorail for us everywhere we want to
go. That's great.
That was pretty funny. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome, man.
Well, I'm happy to say, Scott, I mean, like I said, it's an honor to meet you. I was at Game 6. I was, without a doubt, the biggest home run and most important home run in Angels history. My wife and I were there that night, and so it truly is an honor to be here with you.
Well, thank you. It's same back at you, and I played against your brother too, Bobby Crosby. So
that's right.
It's kind of neat to finally, and I'm a fan of Disney, fan of Marvel, and I really love the movies, and so it's kind of cool that you guys had us on together. Yeah. And I'm excited to see how you draw this rally monkey too. So
let's check it out.
I'm ready.
You wouldn't believe how many people I've talked to that said they left Game 6. Before the home run, and it's crazy, and I've heard a lot of people too, like San Francisco fans saying, "Boy, we were already celebrating, we were already passing out merchandise that I'd made, saying world champs, and now I think there's kids in Africa that are wearing those."
Yeah, probably a completely different view of all the championship teams for the last 20 years.
The Dodgers have won so many championships.
The Buffalo Bills, the Buffalo Bills, the greatest football team.
Yeah, the Braves dynasty.
Right. Exactly.
All right.
Well, let's see that monkey, Brian.
All right. Well, you guys are going to draw along with me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought a sketch pad just for this.
All right. I need you to allow me to share my screen here.
Okay.
Todd.
Well, let me get on that here. Let's see. Give me a minute here. Oh, let's see. All right.
I'm
be
in
good to
Memphis,
go
by
now.
the way, today, Todd.
What's that?
I'm in Memphis today, by the way. I didn't tell you that we were on the phone.
Oh, okay. Memphis. I thought you were back at home. You got it now? Yeah, there you
Yeah, I
go.
wish. All right.
Okay. You guys see my screen there?
Yep.
I can see it.
Okay, so what I'm going to be drawing digitally, but it shouldn't make any difference because it's all going to look like pencil sketches to you guys. So I'll show you that it's going to look just like that, right? So
All right.
you guys will be able to see exactly what I'm doing.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to use when I sketch. So I just a little shameless plug. We've been doing a series on Marvel HQ called Marvel Draw, where I teach kids and families, beginning artists, how to draw Spider-Man and the Hulk and different characters. So if you kind of dig this, if you got families and young artists at home, encourage you to check out those videos. And a lot of what I do when I draw Marvel superheroes is very similar to how I'm going to draw the Rally Monkey here. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to draw really his head and kind of focus on that. So I'm going to just start by drawing a circle right in the middle. So you can be kind of loose and sketchy with it. Doesn't need to be perfect. We're gonna go over it later on with a darker color. And he's going to be looking kind of off and up to the right. And so imagine this being a sphere. So we're going to draw a center line that goes around that ball, just like that.
I'm already on my second page. I already messed up that bad. Say, all right, well, that's not a circle. It's a square.
You guys see it okay?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right. So now we're going to do a little nose. So it's just kind of a little oval, right about halfway up. Okay.
All right.
So now just under that, we're going to do the top lip of his mouth. So it kind of is a swoop, kind of like the Ducks logo a little bit.
At first, it looked like a Pokemon ball. No lie.
Yeah. Okay, so over the top of that lip, underneath that nose, we're going to go around it and come down around. So you can see it does kind of look like that duck bill from the Ducks logo.
Oh,
like
yeah.
That. Okay. Now from here, so this is the top of his mouth. So you can make a little line just like that. And then from here, we're going to come down. And same thing on the other side. And it meets right there. You guys can tell me to slow down if I'm going too fast at any point here. So his mouth is big and open and smiling. And then now we're going to draw his these big teeth that he has. So big teeth kind of comes down from that top lip and across. So this is all called these are called construction lines. So I'm just drawing over the top of it, and then once I get it the way I want it, then I'll draw over the top of this with a darker pencil or a black pencil.
Oh, okay. So
inside, down at the bottom, we're gonna do the bottom teeth. So just like that. And then his tongue is going to sit inside. So it's an arch and then another arch. You see his tongue sitting inside there.
The mouth of my Rally Monkey is way too large.
That's okay. That's okay. All right. And we're going to draw the inside of his mouth. So this is all going to be, this will all be black inside here eventually. Just like that. Okay, so now we're going to come on the outside of that mouth on the side. We're going to come down, just follow the same line that we did before, and then create that bottom lip. I'll zoom in a little bit. You guys can see it a little better. Like that. Am I going too fast? Are you guys good?
No, we're good. Scott's like, speak for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we have the bottom of his chin. And then this comes all the way up from here along the side of his mouth. Once you've done that, now we're going to go around and down. Just around that. That creates that crease in the side of his mouth over there. Okay. Now we're going to do these eyes. So that center line we drew at the beginning, that's right here. That's going to help us divide the eyes. So the eyes are kind of like rounded off triangles. There's one there, and then one over here. 1, 2. And we draw a little oval inside there, 1 and 2. And those will be black as well. And I leave a little white for a little highlight in the eye. Just like that. Okay.
Almost like an olive, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then up above his eyes, we're going to create these kind of eyebrow things that are up above. Just like that. And now he's got some hair. So we got to have hair that kind of shoots out from that, excuse me, where the eyebrow and that cheek meet. And so you're going to create these kind of hairlines that come out like this.
Right now, he's got my hair. Nothing on top, on the sides.
So on the other side, you got a little bit of a suggestion of that cheek and then a little bit of hair on that side. You don't have to go too crazy, just a little bit over there. Just to show that there's the other side of his head. And then he's got a tuft of hair that comes out the top right here. It kind of shoots out the top. All right, so now we got to add the hat. So he's wearing a baseball cap backwards. So you just draw that cap back there. Little button on top. And it's always good to throw a little bit of the bill in the back. Just so you see the back side of that hat. This cartoony version sometimes has him wearing an adjustable hat backwards, but I like to keep him in a fitted cap.
Baseball traditionalist over there.
Exactly. Okay, so now you've got the basics of it. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm gonna use another layer, but I'm just going to go over the top of it in black. So all my construction lines are done. So I feel pretty good about where that is. And now I'm going to go over the top of it in black. So I'm just going over the lines that I already created. But now I'm really committing to where those lines are. So you're almost kind of retracing your steps.
So do this the entire way around?
Yep.
Okay.
But now is where you're committing to lines. So this is, and the reason I draw in blue is when I first started drawing comics, we weren't using Photoshop. We didn't have Photoshop or anything like that. Now we can do it all in Photoshop, and we can drop the blue line out. But in the early days of comics, we drew in blue, and we used what was called a non-photo blue pencil. And so when we Xerox it, the blue line wouldn't show up. So it would just be our tight finished lines. And even though now I do a lot of it digitally, my approach is still the same. And I think just, as I'm sure Scott can attest, if you want to get good at anything, you just gotta practice. You got to do it over and over, a lot of repetition.
Well, I can't speak on everyone's behalf, but I'm certainly not coming for your job anytime soon.
Me neither.
Well, that's part of it. Is I gotta make it sound easy, but also show how difficult it is, so I have a little job security as well.
Yeah,
Right.
that's fair. Bob Iger, if you're watching this.
Okay, so there's that lip. So go in and do those eyes.
Yeah, Bob Iger is watching this. You want to buy the Angels?
Please do.
Yeah.
Man.
So I was always kind of the little bit of the dark horse in my family, as I was the one who could draw superheroes and stuff. My brothers were the ones. I played okay. I played in high school, but I was a better artist than I was a baseball player.
What position did you play, Brian? Primarily.
What's that?
What position did you play primarily?
Well, I'm a lefty. I played first base and outfield. And I still do. I still play a little slow pitch softball, and I've been playing some vintage 1886 style baseball recently with the Riverside Smudge Pots, kind of a vintage baseball league. It's been kind of fun playing 1886 rules.
Oh, you play with them? I didn't know you play with them.
Yeah, just this season. I got in contact with them with I don't know if you know Chris.
Yeah.
That Halo Haven podcast.
Yeah.
And we kind of became friends, and he invited me to come out and play with them. So I've been playing with them a little bit off and on this season.
Okay, yeah, because I got invited to play with a new Anaheim team they're creating next
Oh,
year.
really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got called for that too, huh?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, we might be playing against each other next season.
There you go.
But I called dibs on Spiezio though.
All right. So now I'm just cleaning up these lines.
I really messed up on my cheek. I feel like that's where I went wrong. Like if I'm like now that I'm critiquing it.
That's all right.
Mine's gonna look interesting.
Yeah, mine looks more like the duck, the mighty duck, than it looks like the rally monkey right now. Kind of like Mr. Toad also.
That's okay. Those are great characters.
Do you have a favorite Disney character that's not Marvel related, Brian?
A favorite Disney, like to draw?
No, just in general.
I mean, I think I like drawing Goofy. But I think I enjoy watching Donald Duck cartoons the most.
Okay. Did you used to like the baseball Goofy cartoon when you were a
Oh
kid?
yeah, those were great. Yeah,
I used to love that one. How to play baseball.
yep.
Well,
In fact, I just finished a drawing the interiors of a comic book story in Extreme Venomverse called Major League Venom, and it's kind of a multiverse of Venom characters. And the kind of the idea is, what if Venom was a Major League Baseball player? What would that look like? So if you check out Extreme Venomverse #5, you can see my art for Major League Venom.
that is an interesting concept.
All right, so I told you guys there was going to be a little bit of a surprise. So you
Is it
notice
restarting?
I have not drawn the chin yet, so I'm going to do something a little fun down here.
Ah,
All
There
right,
you
now I
go.
get it.
I like it.
There you go. So now that I got my lines in, I usually take a thicker pencil, and I go in and I'll do the outline just to give it a good silhouette. And one of the hallmarks of a great Marvel character is having an iconic silhouette, so that you can recognize it even if you just see them in complete darkness. And so if you think about characters like Iron Man or the Hulk or Captain America, those characters can all be recognized just based on their silhouette. So I try to think about that when I'm drawing these characters. So I hope I don't mind. I'm going to flip this around real quick.
No, you're good.
And this is how we we did the Defenders of the Diamond program. I did a lot of those. I drew 20 different logos for various minor league baseball teams. And yeah, I did draw some of the Angels minor league teams. I art directed all 96, but I drew some of them myself, and I did hand pick, if I'm being totally honest, the Angels farm clubs. Scott, which clubs did you play for in the minors?
Which clubs?
Yeah.
Well, I was with Oakland, so I started with Medford, Oregon, for about a month or two, and then I went to Modesto, California. So short season A to high A right away, and then Huntsville, Alabama, double A, and then Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, for triple A.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so once you got to that point, you really kind of have your drawing locked in, and then the final step, like any good artist, is you gotta sign it. That makes it yours. So I put my name down in the corner, Brian Crosby. But just for fun, I'm gonna do one more little thing here.
I don't know if I want to own mine. There you go.
Ah.
There we go.
Not bad.
I'm gonna call this the Pure Crush version of
I like it.
Rally Monkey.
Hey, that works with Anaheim. The Orange Crush Spiezio.
Exactly. There you go. There you have it, guys.
That looks awesome. Man.
Are we going to be showing how ours look? Todd?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Fernando, we got to see the work. I won't critique you.
I mean, you will once we get off.
Yeah, let's see how it looks. How you want to share yours first, or how's that work on there?
Oh no, Todd, you're going first.
Oh, I'm going first.
You're good. This is replacing the post game show today. So
I'm loving how locked in Scott is right now. It's just...
I'm not done yet.
All right, I guess I'll go first. Because in school, I was always the one who went first.
There you go.
That's not bad.
No,
That's me.
look how big his cheek is. It looks like he's like chewing tobacco, which is fine.
He's got a little chaw. He's got a little chaw, little red cheek.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Well, that's it. I'm
not
gonna try to
bad.
redo this when I get home. But yeah.
I feel about as nervous as I would when because I did this one in pen. I didn't bring my pencil down, so the first one looks very scary, and then the one on the bottom is one I did without the lines right there. So
Hey,
There you go.
not
There
bad.
you go.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Spiezio, you're up.
All right.
Oh,
Nice.
Hey,
no.
Right.
Oh, that's awesome.
Jeez, that's really good.
Number
Brian,
23.
I'm selling it. I'm selling it on eBay.
As you should.
That was
great.
pretty good.
Not
I'm
bad.
blown away.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Would
All
you
right,
consider
maybe
yourself an artist, Scott?
I am a little nervous for my job now after seeing Scott's work.
I just copied off you. That's all I had to do. My sister, my middle sister, was a really good artist, and so I took art 1 and art 2 in high school. I wasn't very good, but I had fun doing it. I like doing it.
Very cool.
Were you the kind of in Scott in the class when it got a little boring to you? You know, during math or something, you doodle and do some cool drawings like that, or what?
Yeah, I used to draw monster trucks.
There
all
you
the
go.
time.
Fair enough.
Great.
How many-
Yeah.
How many practice sessions did you take, Brian, to learn how to draw the rally monkey?
I did it a couple times.
Okay.
Just I mean, so like I said, once I kind of know the mechanics of it, and then when I see it, then I can kind of break it down. So when I do this fast and I'm doing it quick on my own, I don't necessarily think through all the steps, like, when I'm going step by step of what you have to do. So I kind of have to reverse engineer it. So I look at how to draw it, figure out how to make it my own, and learn how to teach it. So yeah, it's been fun. We started doing these Marvel draw videos during the pandemic when we didn't have things like Comic-Con and these big events, and so it was a way for us to connect with the fans when people were at home, and we were getting great responses from people all over the world that were getting to draw along with me. So it's been pretty cool. We've kept it up, since then.
That's awesome. Teaching a whole new generation of how to draw Disney characters and Marvel. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, actually, one of the fun things I got to do is I did we did a program with Topps. If you're on the Topps Bunt app, so it's like digital baseball cards, and we did a partnership between Marvel and Topps, and we turned, I think, 6 or 7 different Major League Baseball players into superheroes. It came across my desk in email, and I had a list of all the players we were going to do, and Mike Trout was on the list. And so I did raise my hand. I'm like, I think I need to take that one on myself. So
You're like, I will carry the burden.
Yeah, if you get up on my Instagram, you'll see my superhero version of Mike Trout. But all I can think about now is drawing Pure Crush. It's in my head. We got to make it happen. Scott, and if Kangaroo Court needs a logo, you have them hit me up.
I love it. For sure, they'd love it. So then for the movies, you said it takes like 4 or 5 years for the residuals and everything start piling in, right?
Yeah, right.
That's right.
He's all, let me send you my address.
Yeah, right.
I was just gonna say thanks, Brian. That was actually kind of fun. I'm gonna have to tell some friends about that. That's follow you. Are you guys still doing stuff like that then?
Yeah. So
Okay.
we haven't done as many of the how to draws as we did. Like I said, during the pandemic, we were doing them all the time. We still do them on occasion though. And we have a pretty big digital presence, but I post art on my Instagram pretty regularly whenever I'm in airports and drawing and things like that. But yeah, there's probably, I don't know, maybe 20 different videos for kids that want to learn how to draw Spider-Man or Captain Marvel, learn how to make the Fantastic Four logo or whatever it is. We did a bunch of different, maybe you want to learn how to draw Thor's hammer. So we had some fun doing those.
I
That's
love it.
awesome. You guys are getting a lot of love on here. Also, Sports News says Scott and Brian taking their time out to do a Q&A is drawing drawing is more productive than the Angels lineup today. So we get some sarcasm in there, but they're loving the drawings, and good job on the patch right there, the soul patch there for Spies, Brian.
I love
Of
it.
course, 100%, 100%.
And one quick question for Spies. Hearing the thunder sticks on the field, man, what was that like?
Oh, unbelievable. The first time I heard them, I couldn't believe it. We were all looking at each other like, holy cow. They don't look like they're going to be loud, but when everybody starts banging them, man, it gets loud. And I remember, Sosha telling us, you guys got to really make sure you're using hand signals and arm signals on pop-ups because you might not be able to hear. But it was a huge advantage. At least I felt. We had the Rally Monkeys, we had the Thunder Sticks, and we had the fans involved, and it was awesome playing at home. That the playoffs and at the end of that year, especially in 2002.
Well, that was the year the red was introduced. So like the sea of red in the stadium was such a special year. My kids are only two of them are around and they were very young during that time, and I tell them all the time about how fun that was, just to be an Angel fan, to be in the community. People, everybody had an Angel flag on their car, and it was such a great year. So thank you, Scott, for making that.
Yeah, a lot of fans are saying that in the comments as well. Thank you for the experiences and the memories, man. It was amazing, amazing time.
It was fun for me too. So thank you guys for helping us get there, helping us get over the hump. That's for sure.
Damn right. Another question about the Angels. What was your reaction to the red? Coming off, obviously wearing the pinstripes before, like Brian was talking about. Now, them going to the red logos. Did you like that look? Yeah. Did you guys feel better in those jerseys at the time?
Yeah, I know I did. I wasn't a big fan of the other uniforms. I mean, they were okay, but I really liked the new uniforms and logos. I think they're kind of classic. I still love them. I don't really ever wear any of my old Angels stuff, with with the feathers on them and the wings. What I always wear is the Angel red.
We're good for now?
Oh, no. I was just clearing my throat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and then what is it? Let's see. We got a couple more questions here. Yeah, some people saying the pinstripes did suck. Loved the Anaheim on the chest. Were you there when they took that off the chest, Spies? Or
I don't know. I don't know. When did they take it off?
Was that 03 or 04, guys? Do you guys remember?
I want to say it was 04.
Yeah.
Because it didn't last. It didn't last long.
Yeah, I was gone after 03. Yeah. I didn't want to be, but I was.
Yeah.
Hey, you went on to win another championship, so
I did. And that, I went to the Mariners, which ended up being horrible for me. But I got hurt, and then a bunch of other crazy stuff happened. Mostly my own doing, but. Yeah, it was really it was cool to be able to go on and play with the Cardinals. We had a lot of the Angel guys there. We had Ack and Edmonds, and Percival came, and Kennedy came, and so it was fun. A lot, after when we clinched in 2002, when we were in Texas, I picked up Eckstein and I threw him into the ice, the big trough full of champagne bottles and stuff, and then I jumped in it. And then, so every time we'd win, a series, I'd do the same thing. So when I went to the Cardinals, when we clinched, I looked at him and he just jumped in my arms, and boom, we did the same thing all the way through. And that was a special time for me too, because my dad had won two with the Cardinals, and I got to wear my dad's number 26. So it was special. But that team with the first championship with the Angels is something that I'll never forget, and I know the fans won't either.
Hey Scott, what years did your dad play with St. Louis?
My dad, he signed in '63 out of college, and by '64 he was in the World Series with the Yankees, or with the Cardinals versus the Yankees. He didn't play in the World Series, but he was available. He was on the bench, and then he played in all the way through '68. So they went to the series in '64, beat the Yankees in seven. '67 they beat the Red Sox in seven, and then they lost in seven to Detroit. And then we of course beat Detroit in 2006. '69 he was taken in the expansion with the Padres, and a lot of people don't know it, but he's got the first hit, first RBI, first run scored, and first home run in Padre history.
Wow.
It was
That's awesome.
yeah, April 7th maybe, or April 8th, 1969.
That's so cool.
Yeah, yeah.
My dad, he played with St. Louis in '71, and he
Oh
was
wow.
with St. Louis for a couple of years, and he was with Cincinnati and then Cleveland from like '71 to '78. Ed Crosby was my dad's name.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, he was a scout later on in kind of the second half of his career.
Very cool. So
He played. My other brother Blake is a scout with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Wow, so you got baseball running through your family.
Yeah, you and me both, man.
That's really cool.
And now we're both professional artists.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So send me the contract.
You're hired, man.
Spiezio's gonna be the newest Marvel comic book drawer. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh, that'd be funny.
All right. Is that all we got?
I think so for tonight. I think we taught some people how to draw the rally monkey, and shared some stories, and then tried to get some information out of Brian, but I think he's holding back.
Not getting anything out of me.
See, he's like, no lawsuits for me. And then hearing about Scott and his son's band. Where to check that out again? If you want to put that out one more time.
Kangaroo Court.
There you go, Kangaroo Court.
Yeah, and the song, one of their big songs so far is "Something's Gotta Give."
Something's got to give.
Cool.
All right. Hey, well, Brian, when's the next Comic-Con? Is it going to be in LA or is it San Diego?
The next one we have is New York Comic-Con in October. So if anybody's in the New York area, or come on over and say hi at the Marvel booth, I'll be there.
Okay, so they don't have anything scheduled back here then, huh?
Back here on the West Coast?
Yeah.
No, not until next year. We'll have San Diego and D23 Expo next year.
Okay, well, if you don't see Scott in New York, because Scott, with his talent, he should bring it over there to practice a little bit and then go out there. If not, wait to the West Coast, get a year under his belt, and then be ready to unleash the Spiezio drawings.
I like it.
I haven't gone to D23 since like 2013. Was that they have one in 2013, right?
Yeah, maybe it's every other year.
Okay.
Yeah, so we don't have one this year. Well, there's a smaller one in Orlando called Destination D23, but the big event will be next year in Anaheim.
You're trying to make it out to that one.
Oh, real quick, Dan said Adam Kennedy has been coaching his kid out there in Costa Mesa, and yeah, Dan, Scott talked about doing some coaching over there in Chicago, right? The Chicago area or close to that area.
Yeah, I'm in my hometown of Morris, Illinois, and I after 2002 I built a facility for myself to work out in, and I wasn't using it, and I figured right when COVID happened, I figured I'm going to open this thing up and start teaching kids the fundamentals, because a lot of the stuff I was seeing on the internet was not right, and
Correct.
So I wanted to make sure that I was teaching them the right way, and it's been amazing. And it's cool. Not only do I talk about that, but a lot of people know my story about getting addicted to alcohol and drugs later in my career, my last year, and then recovering. I'm 5.5 years sober, and so I talk about baseball, I talk about work ethic, I talk about making good choices, setting goals, and then also the dangers of drugs and alcohol. So I talk to schools and churches and things like that, and real involved with my church. So it's it's really cool to be, involved with your community again, because for a long time I wasn't here. And so it's fun to see my friends' kids now, growing up and doing well in the community and in baseball. And so it's been a blessing for sure.
Are you going to be writing a book about your experiences at all, or have you? Or
Yeah, I've been in the process of it, but it's a lot harder than you think. You got to go back and read a bunch of articles to kind of jog your memory. Yeah, it's just, I don't know how much in detail I want to go into.
Okay.
But no, I mean, like in the book, not here.
Oh, okay.
There's some things that, they make for a good story, but then, I don't know about the repercussions, but eventually I'll do it. I think I owe it to people to share my story. And I usually say it's to give other people hope, especially those that are suffering from addiction. My whole theory is, as long as you got a breath, you got a pen to write a great ending. And so I just tell people never give up when they're facing that kind of stuff. And I tell kids, if you want to be a major leaguer, if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, you can't just dream about it. You got to set goals, and to achieve those goals, you got to have consistency and discipline to do it. And so yeah, I mean that's kind of where I'm at now. I don't know what's gonna be in my future. I don't really look too far into it. I just enjoy every day. I get up and get to teach and get to take breath and see the sun and everything like that. So it's I can't complain at all.
Nice. Okay.
Beautiful mindset.
Absolutely. And never know the people you can reach when you endeavor on something like that, using personal struggles and overcoming things. People look at that and can draw inspiration in their own lives. So that's good. Yeah. Brian, where can they reach you as far as your social medias, and what do you got on the horizon here coming up?
Sure. Well, I mean, I already talked about New York Comic Con. That's kind of the big thing coming up for us, second week of October, and I'm on Instagram, Wizard of Cross 23, and 23 was my number when I played, Scott. So I have soft spot for 23.
There's a lot of connections between you two.
I know.
I'm already following you, I think.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think I requested you back as well. So
all right, cool.
Yeah, Wizard of Cross 23, and I post some of the fun stuff we're doing at Marvel and my art up there and things like that.
Nice. That's awesome.
Awesome.
Any last words, Fernando?
Did we already ask Scott where they could follow him?
Yeah. Or wait, go ahead.
I'm trying to remember what it is. I think it's S Spiezio. There's some other ones that aren't me on there. I think it's S Spiezio or something like that. And then Facebook. And then I have Spiezio Baseball on Facebook too. I don't know what my Twitter is. I'm hardly ever on there.
That's fair.
Or X or whatever it's called now. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever it'll be called tomorrow also.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
That's it for me too. You want to close it out?
Well, on behalf of all of us here at Halos of the Infield, thank you guys so much. And Brian and Scott, once again, thank you guys so much for your time. We hope you guys had as much fun as we did. And as far as you guys, Halo fam, hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day. And don't forget about that backpack drive. Let's make the community a better place.